Welcome, all of you. I'm Jisoo Kim, Director of the GW Institute for Korean Studies, and I'm also Korea Foundation Associate Professor of History, International Affairs, and East Asian Languages and Literatures. It is my great pleasure to welcome all of you to our first annual North Korea Economic Forum Conference. Today's conference is co-organized and co-sponsored by GWIKS and KDI School of Public Policy and Management. And earlier this year, GWIKS received generous grant from KDI School, and we would like to take this opportunity to announce our partnership between the two schools. And before I introduce the representatives of the two schools to give their congratulatory remarks, I would like to briefly explain about the generous grant. Based on the grant allows us to first support our students by offering MA scholarships, and second, accept postdoctoral fellow of GWIKS, and third, have book manuscript workshops for scholars in the field of social sciences, and finally, build our policy programs. And so based on the grant, we made three major policy programs at GWIKS, and they are Korea Policy Forum, GWIKS North Korea Program, and North Korea Economic Forum. And today's conference is part of the North Korea Economic Forum, and this forum is mostly a closed and off-the-record meeting where participants can freely and seriously discuss the critical issues. But it also organizes two public events throughout the year, throughout the academic year, and one in the fall and one and the other in the spring. So today's conference is the first open conference of the North Korea Economic Forum. And this forum aims to promote our understanding of North Korean economic issues, distribute the well-balanced and multidimensional aspects of North Korean economy, and to expand the network among the various North Korean economy experts in Washington. And we are very excited to host the first open conference of the North Korea Economic Forum, and very grateful to our distinguished speakers who have agreed to present today. I very much look forward to your presentations and discussions throughout the day. Now, I would like to introduce our honorable guest speakers to give their congratulatory remarks. And first, starting with Dean Ruben Burgett of the LU School of International Affairs. Now, first, I would like to really thank Dean Burgett because he's been sick at the past few days, and we thought that he could not make it today. But I'm very grateful that he's here with us to give his congratulatory remarks. Dean Burgett, who served as U.S. Ambassador to the African Union, joined the LU School as Dean in 2015. Dean Burgett's distinguished career includes service as a permanent representative of the United States to the UN Economic Commission for Africa and as Deputy Assistant Secretary of State in the Bureau of African Affairs from November 14, 2011 until September 3, 2013, at which time he had responsibility for Southern African and regional security affairs. In the 2 years prior to that, he was Deputy Assistant Secretary of State in the Bureau of Population, Refugees, and Migration. And in this capacity, he supervised U.S. refugee programs in Africa, managed U.S. humanitarian diplomacy with major international partners, and oversaw the development of international migration policy. Now, please join me in welcoming Dean Burgett to give his remarks.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. To Dean Yu, to Mr. Newcomb, to Jisoo Kim, and as we say in Africa, all other protocols observed. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is my great honor to be with all of you this morning as we celebrate this first public event in our new partnership between George Washington University and the KDI School for Public Policy and Management Studies. And for all of you that are affiliated with KDI, as I mentioned, Dean Yu, as we say in Africa, you are at home. You are most welcome. And we very much hope that you feel that way. Let me also say at the outset two things. First of all, to express my heartfelt gratitude to KDI for providing such a generous grant to GWIKS to make this possible. And let me also say publicly how profoundly proud and grateful I am to Professor Jisoo Kim, who has been not only steadfast in pursuing this partnership, but also demonstrated further her enormous contribution to scholarship in this area. The importance of Korean studies, especially here in the Washington, D.C., literally cannot be overstated. It is vitally important to educate future policy elites here in Washington as they develop their careers across government and academia, think tanks, the media, NGOs, etc. The importance of Korea, not only historically in its relationship with the United States, but far more importantly, geostrategically in the region, cannot be overstated. And accordingly, we at GW are incredibly proud to be part of, indeed not simply to be part of, to be effectively one of the centers for the continued study and understanding of Korea here in one of the most important policy capitals in the world. Recently, Korean issues have drawn keen interest in America due not only to the White House's active engagement with North Korea, but also because of South Korea's strong economic, military, and cultural power, to include K-pop and all the others. It is essential that here in the nation's capital, that we, in cooperation with leading experts, provide the Washington audience with a deep and variety of perspectives about what is happening on the Korean Peninsula, both south and north. And it is for that reason, for example, that we will be offering a GWIKS North Korea program this fall. This is a unique lecture series covering North Korea's history, domestic politics, economy, foreign policy, the nuclear program, nuclear negotiations, culture, society, and human rights. And we are pleased that 9 lecturers with exceptional academic and professional background will be joining us. We are thrilled to look forward to the future cooperation between GW and KDI, and I just made my commitment to Dean Yo that I will find a way to come out to Seoul to reciprocate his visit here before the end of the next academic year. And I look forward to my first visit to South Korea in this regard. So again, ladies and gentlemen, we're delighted to have you. You're most welcome, and thank you very much for being here today. Thank you.
Now I would like to introduce Dean Jong-il Yu from KDI School of Public Policy and Management. Dean Yu graduated from Seoul National University and received his PhD in economics from Harvard University. He taught at University of Cambridge, University of Notre Dame, and Ritsumeikan University before taking professorship at the KDI School of Public Policy and Management. He also had visiting professor positions at University of California, San Diego, and University of Beijing. And Dean Yu has widely published in such areas as economic growth and income distribution, macroeconomic and development policies, and labor issues. He has been active as a policy advisor and served as a member of the Presidential Committee on Northeast Asia Economic Hub and chaired the Special Committee on Economic Democracy of the Democratic Party. And he also served as a member of the Public Funds Management Committee, the Advisory Committee for the Constitutional Revision Committee of the National Assembly, and the Commission on Financial Administration Reform. As a leader in civic movement, he is currently the head of Knowledge Cooperative for Good Governance, a network of researchers, and the president of Jubilee Bank, an NGO working to help debt-stricken low-income individuals. Now, please join me in welcoming Dean Yu.
This is Korean bow. Ambassador Ruben Burgett of the Elliott School of International Affairs at George Washington University, Professor Newcomb, Professor Jisoo Kim, and all the other distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. As a co-host of the North Korea Economic Forum annual conference, and on behalf of KDI School of Public Policy and Management, I want to extend my sincere welcome to all of you. I'm excited to be among so many colleagues and scholars from various institutions who are here to examine the current state of the North Korean economy. I'd like to express my special thanks to Ruben, may I call you that? Ambassador Burgett, for bringing himself here despite feeling quite unwell over the last few days. I checked the email this morning, and there was a mail from Jisoo, and she said Dean was not coming. So I was very disappointed, but he's here. And being a consummate diplomat he is, he really makes me feel at home. And we are fast becoming good friends. I've had a very hectic week this week. This is my fourth conference this week. And I had important homework to do last night, so I stayed up very late last night. But Ruben has reinvigorated me, so thank you for that. And I am thankful to Jisoo Kim for having put together this wonderful event. And I really look forward to the presentations and discussions today. Just a few weeks ago, KDI School hosted an international conference in Seoul on capacity building cooperation programs with North Korea. We gathered a number of experts and experienced partners to discuss how to engage with North Korea to effectively enhance their capacity and to learn more about the challenges we need to consider as we hope to continue to work with them in this regard. KDI School has a working history in providing knowledge-sharing programs with North Korea since 2001 in the form of not bilateral cooperation, but triangular cooperation with partner institutions from China, Vietnam, and the United States. There's a dire need for technical assistance and capacity building to minimize implementation challenges as North Korea sets out to develop its economy. However, while we discussed strategies for a new phase of capacity building cooperation with North Korea, there was an underlying awareness that without a comprehensive understanding of the North's economic coping strategies and policy priorities, our efforts in capacity building may be futile. Through fora such as this, we hope to fine-tune how to more effectively approach the many tasks at hand when dealing with North Korea. As we work to normalize relations and strive to better understand how to effectively build capacity in North Korea, and as North Korea shifts its priority to economic development, I think the burden is on us to ensure that we are prepared to effectively engage with them. This conference is an opportunity to identify ways to support North Korea's economic development, and when the opportunity strikes, hopefully sooner rather than later, to offer solutions on how to ensure a relatively smooth transition towards a more efficient economic system. We look forward to the valuable contributions this annual forum will be making. Allow me to take this opportunity to thank the GW Institute for Korean Studies for co-hosting this event. And as Jisoo mentioned earlier, this is our inaugural event since our partnership between KDI School and the Aliyah School was forged earlier this year. Through multifaceted cooperation, we hope to enrich the education and research at GWIKS, that's how you call it, and advance interest and understanding of Korean issues here in Washington, D.C. By the way, is Professor Brzezinski here? Over there. He became a celebrity in Korea when he published an op-ed piece in the Post about the historical background of this recent fallout between Korea and Japan. Once again, let me express my sincere gratitude to all of you for your dedication and participation in this conference. I hope today's program can serve as a catalyst for increased dialogue, not only amongst ourselves, but also among key policy stakeholders who can benefit from a more robust understanding of the complex situation at hand. Thank you very much.